Divine confirmation, 3 miraculous signs revealed when your supernatural shift takes place, in a quaint English village, where the sun kissed ancient stone churches and serene prayer gardens, a storm of faith brewed. Sarah, a devoted mother known for her unwavering belief, found herself at a crossroads. Her world shattered when her beloved son, Daniel, was diagnosed with a terminal illness. The doctors delivered their bleak prognosis, yet Sarah held tightly to hope, believing deeply in the power of collective prayer. Each evening, she gathered the community at the local chapel, bathed in the warm glow of flickering candles, their voices echoing in passionate supplication. As dusk fell, an eerie raven circled above them, its dark wings slicing through the heavy air. The villagers couldn't help but marvel. It flew during their prayer meetings, a stark contrast to the comforting sounds of humanity praying for a miracle. Then came warmth, inexplicable yet undeniable, enveloping her home like an embrace from a loved one long gone. Sarah felt it wrap around her, stirring something inside, a reminder that they were not alone. Oddly, church bells began to chime in the early hours, ringing out time and time again, almost as if they answered her cries. The sound resonated through the village, a divine resonance that left them all breathless, but light couldn't fully banish her doubts. Sarah struggled, battling her burgeoning fear that faith might not be enough. One night, overwhelmed and achingly vulnerable, she knelt before the altar, calling out for a sign from St. Jude, the one who embraced impossible causes. Her heart raced as she poured her soul into fervent pleas, tears streaming down her face. Around her, the village buzzed with concern. An all-night vigil was organized, with candlelight flickering like stars against the chapel's stone walls as the community united to pray for Daniel's healing. The atmosphere thickened with eternal hope, restless anticipation molding the night. Before we continue, I need to tell you about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, click the bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can leave a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, tell me in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. As dawn broke, the first rays illuminated the chapel, casting golden light onto the faces gathered in prayer. The moment felt electric when, against all odds, Daniel, who just days before lay lifeless, opened his eyes. Wonder and disbelief rippled through the congregation as color returned to his cheeks, vibrant life surged through him like a tide. Each joyous sound of the church bells became a jubilant anthem, calling to the village to witness this divine transformation, but amidst the celebration, Sarah's heart wrestled with the unfolding miracle. What did this all mean? Was it the power of prayer, or was there something more intricate woven into Daniel's restoration? As villagers gasped in reverent awe, a collective questioning began to tickle the edges of their hearts. What other signs might await them from heaven above? Bound by feeling of a connected village, they stood together in gratitude yet sensed the quivering uncertainty lurking beneath, making them question the very fabric of their beliefs. In a world that suddenly brimmed with miracles, the lingering tension remained, a flicker of doubt still residing in the sacred hush that enveloped them all. The village stirred with excitement, a buoyant energy that pulsed through the morning air. The miraculous awakening of Daniel had sparked a fire of renewed faith. As they coalesced around the chapel, a renewed sense of purpose surfaced in their hearts. Each villager carried their own burden of hope, seeking signs that affirmed their devotion. Sarah, wrapped in emotional gratitude, felt the weight of shared expectation. Her son's miracle seemed to herald something larger than their isolated reality. Amidst the conversations and joyful laughter, a low shifting whisper swirled, like wind rustling through the trees. What else might God do for us? Some murmured, excitement dancing in their eyes. This was not just a miracle for Daniel, it planted seeds of belief in each soul present. They all sensed the delicate threads of divine connection weaving tighter, nudging them towards a path illuminating their shared spirit, yet doubt still flickered like the dying embers of flame. Sarah sought comfort in the familiar embrace of prayer. That afternoon, after the village rejoiced together, she returned to the chapel alone. Kneeling, the sacred space embraced her. With each beat of the rosary, she felt the tides of uncertainty ebbing away, yet the question scratched persistently at her heart: was one miracle sufficient to bind their faith? As if answering her, the raven swept low overhead, its shadow dancing across her bowed head. An unexpected chill gripped the air, a profound reminder of life's fragility. Goosebumps rose on her skin, but an exciting resolve formed in her heart. She raised her eyes to the heavens. "Send me another sign, Lord. What must we do to understand your messages?" Almost on cue, a gentle yet sudden breeze stirred in the chapel, causing the candles to flicker as if God's breath itself was caressing the sacred place. In that moment, Sarah heard the sound of distant bells, this time, not from the village, but from deep within her heart. The call to collective action became palpable, urging her to invite the villagers back together in a spirit of unity and gratitude. Thus, she took to the village square, her voice trembling with excitement. "Let us gather once more. Let us give thanks, acknowledge our miracle, and seek further revelations together." The villagers responded, their eyes glistening with anticipation. Excitement began to bubble anew as they looked to one another. In that moment, they recognized the power of community, the strength found in shared faith. At twilight, they filled the chapel, once more igniting the promise of hope and embracing the divine. As they joined hands in prayer, an ethereal glow enveloped them. Suddenly, the raven perched at the opening of the chapel, its dark eyes glimmering with firelight. The villagers held their breath, transfixed. Then, an extraordinary sight, a soft, luminous light descended, swirling around them as their voices mingled in harmonized fervor. Whispers of gratitude pulsed through the air, and chills of divine communion gripped their hearts. They felt something awakening, a divine presence in their midst. Was this clarity, or was it simply another layer of mystery? The answers evaded them like a gentle mist, but their faith began to swell, expanding within. How would this revelation change them? What other truths and divine signs awaited in the depths of their unified devotion? As the light dissipated, an aura of miraculous potential lingered. Still clinging to one another, the villagers exchanged knowing glances, an unvoiced communication awakening among them. They knew together they could face the unknown. So, what awaited them at the next gathering of faith? What new miracles might bloom in this garden of shared belief? With hearts racing, the anticipation sparked brighter than ever before. What divine surprise lay ahead? The night deepened, a soothing blanket settling over the village as stars twinkled like watchful eyes in the vast sky. The chapel buzzed with an energy that shimmered in the air. Villagers spoke in hushed tones, trying to absorb the moment they had just experienced. The soft glow they had felt lingered still, wrapping around them like a warm embrace. Sarah stepped outside, drawn by the hymn of the cool night breeze. The raven had vanished, leaving only its shadow behind. There was a stillness around her that hinted at something potent in the unseen. She gazed up at the moon, full and radiant. It bathed the world in silver light, illuminating not just the paths they walked, but the paths of their hearts. One by one, the villagers began emerging from the chapel, their faces suffused with wonder and hope. They gathered in small clusters, sharing thoughts and reflections. Each voice carried a weight, each story a fragment of the collective tapestry of faith. "What did we witness tonight?" asked Thomas, a kind-hearted soul known for his gentle spirit. Was it truly a blessing or a test? Another chimed in, their voice laced with trepidation. Sarah listened, her heart thrumming. The questions were valid. Their first miracle had sparked a wave of faith, but with it came a heightened sense of responsibility. It was clear they needed to nurture this new belief. "Perhaps these moments are just the beginning," Sarah spoke softly, catching their attention. Several heads turned her way, curiosity glimmering in their eyes. "We've felt the presence of something significant today, something that connects us all. Maybe we should not just wait for further signs but actively seek them." The excitement in her voice surged as she spoke. "If we praise the Lord as one, there could be more to discover." A ripple of agreement flowed through the villagers. They were ready. In that shared resolve, the air thickened with purpose. They decided to host a gathering at dawn, a time when the world awoke to possibility. They would share their hopes, their dreams, and their fears in sincere prayer and worship. Maybe together, they could invite more miracles, just as they had felt the power of divine presence wrap around them that night. As they dispersed to prepare for the coming day, Sarah felt invigorated. There was a hush settling into the village, a knowing that tomorrow would be painted with divine brushstrokes. However, as she headed toward home, a flash of movement caught her eye. The raven reappeared, perching on a nearby branch, its gaze fixed intently on her. Could this be another message? The air crackled with anticipation as she approached it, heart pounding. "Show us, Lord," she whispered, almost in a dare. The raven cawed, a sound that echoed against the quiet of the night, as if it were heralding something profound. Suddenly, clouds moved aside, revealing a patch of stars brighter than the rest, a sign, shimmering and full of promise. Sarah's breath caught in her throat, realization dawning like the breaking of dawn. The universe was alive with messages. What lay within reach if they were simply willing to have faith and follow where he led? With renewed courage, she firmly grasped the idea before her. It was not just about asking for signs, but about being ready to see them. And so, a question lingered in her heart, one that had been woven into the very fabric of their gathering. Would they dare to uncover the mystery that awaited them in the glow of the morning light? What guidance would the dawn bring, and how might their united spirits channel a greater divine revelation? The dawn whispered softly across the horizon, brushing the sky with hues of pink and gold. As the village stirred to life, energy crackled in the air, a joy-filled anticipation of what lay ahead. Sarah, eyes bright with hope, gathered at the chapel with her fellow villagers, hearts eager and spirits high. The sun peeked over the rooftops, casting a warm glow on the faces of those who had come seeking divine confirmation. They formed a circle, hands joined, as the first rays of light kissed the ground. The world felt electric, charged with the promise of miracles. "Let us open our hearts," Sarah urged, her voice ringing with clarity. "Let us seek the Lord with all we are." With one voice, they began to pray. Their words tumbled out, weaving a tapestry of praise and longing. The sound of their united spirits rose like incense, and in that sacred moment, the air shimmered. It was as if heaven itself had leaned close to listen. Suddenly, a rustling caught their attention. A ladybug flitted past, landing on a nearby flower vivid and bright. It seemed out of place amid the earthy morning. Its arrival was gentle, yet unmistakably an invitation. It reminded them of new beginnings, of faith that thrives even in the smallest of creatures. "Look!" exclaimed Mary, an older woman with deep lines on her face that told stories of strength. "It's a sign, a promise of joy." As if on cue, a choir of birds lifted into the sky, their song harmonizing with the prayers. The villagers gasped, each note a testament to creation's splendor. It was as if each creature was singing their faith back to the heavens, beauty born from trust. In that moment, Sarah felt an overwhelming wave of love, a fervent reminder that they lived under a watchful gaze, each moment infused with purpose. Tears streamed down her cheeks, glistening in the light. The villagers were connected in a way that transcended words. They were children of light, infused with hope and belonging. But then, as they settled into the warmth of that experience, a shadow passed overhead. It was the raven again, sweeping down low, calling out with a resonance that echoed through the hearts of all present. The sign was clear, they were being guided, urged to open their eyes wider. "Follow me," a whisper seemed to weave through the air, urging their spirits onward. With hearts racing, Sarah took a step back, gazing up at the bird, its wings spread wide, dark against the rising sun. "Let us trust in what we are being shown," she encouraged the group. "The miracle doesn't end here. It's just begun." Eager whispers drifted through the villagers. They felt a deeper calling, the weight of the unseen gently nudging them forward. What were they being led toward? The answer lingered just out of reach, a divine mystery inviting them to dive deeper into faith. As they shared the pulse of excitement, Sarah could feel it. There would be more signs to unravel. Each moment held the promise of revelation. They returned to prayer, pondering what awaited them. What miracle awaited them in the heart of this day, and how might they prepare themselves to embrace it? With the raven watching and the dawn illuminating their souls, their adventure was just beginning. As the villagers gathered closer, a hum of anticipation swirled around them. The sun climbed higher, illuminating a vibrancy in their surroundings that seemed almost alive. Birds danced above their heads, and the sweet scent of blossoms filled the air, beckoning them deeper into the experience before them. Closer still, Sarah urged, feeling a tug in her spirit. Let us not just lift our voices, but our hearts. With eyes closed and hands squeezing tightly, they formed their intentions to the Lord, sending them up like fragrant smoke from a holy fire. Waves of faith rippled through each participant, uniting them in spirit. In that moment, a stillness settled over them, a sacred hush where each heartbeat became a prayer. Then it happened. Light shifted in the chapel. A beam cascaded through the window, dancing across the floorboards and highlighting something unusual. A glimmering feather, radiant in its perfection, had settled at Sarah's feet. She knelt down, almost instinctively, drawn to its beauty. "Look!" she exclaimed, holding up the feather for all to see. "It's like a promise from above, a message that we are not alone." The villagers gasped, eyes wide. A profound stillness enveloped them as the feather shimmered, a token of hope, of divine assurance that their prayers were being heard. It seemed to pulsate, vibrating with the very essence of the universe, wrapping them in its warmth. Mary stepped forward, her fingers brushing against the delicate strands. "This is not merely a feather," she said, her voice trembling. "This is a symbol, a reminder of the Holy Spirit's guidance among us. We are to trust, to soar, even when the path seems obscure." As Sarah placed the feather gently back on the ground, a gentle rustling in the trees caught their attention. The raven circled back around, landing on a low branch, its sharp gaze filled with intensity. It cawed, a sound rich with meaning, compelling them to receive yet another revelation. "He is here to lead us," whispered James, a young man full of passion. His eyes, lit with determination, met others in the circle. "It's as if he is saying there is something deeper we need to uncover. What if the miracle we seek lies just beyond this moment?" Intrigued, the villagers leaned in closer, the raven's presence igniting a fire within them. Sarah felt an electric thrill race through her veins. This was more than just a gathering, they were traversing the lines of the divine. But what were they really being called to understand? In a flurry of movement, the raven took off into the skies once more, spiraling higher and higher until it was a mere speck against the vastness of blue. With every flap of its wings, it beckoned them onward, encouraging them to chase the visions that awaited. "Let us go after it. Let us see where it leads," Sarah cried, feeling a surge of courage bloom in her heart. It was a call to adventure, a leap into the unknown that required not just faith, but action. With renewed energy, they began to move, carefully weaving through the wildflowers that beckoned them. Each step felt significant, every footfall a declaration of trust. But as they reached the edge of the forest, uncertainty loomed. A thick fog began to rise, shrouding their path ahead, engulfing the trees in a mystical embrace. It felt both daunting and exhilarating. What awaited them within that fog? What revelations would unfold as they stepped into the unknown, guided by the spirit of the raven and their unyielding faith? As the villagers stood on the cusp of the foggy forest, a palpable energy surged between them. It was as if the very air crackled with possibility. Sarah took a deep breath, her heart racing with anticipation and the thrill of the unknown. "Take my hand," she called to Mary, who smiled nervously but obeyed. One by one, they formed a chain, each person joining to the next. This act of unity seemed to weave their spirits together, creating a protective barrier against the encroaching mist. The fog twirled around them like an ethereal ribbon, cloaking the path ahead. With hesitant steps, they crossed the threshold, leaving their familiar surroundings behind. The world they knew faded, replaced by an otherworldly landscape where the trees stood taller and the colors seemed richer. "I can feel the spirit," James shouted, his voice cutting through the heavy silence. "It's like a heartbeat, alive and echoing." Indeed, as they ventured deeper, the forest responded. Soft whispers danced from branch to branch, urging them onward. The rustling leaves melded into a harmonious song, beckoning them to listen closely. In that sacred moment, forgetting their trepidation, they pressed further, faith guiding their path like a lantern in the dark, yet doubt lingered at the edges of their minds. "What if it turns out to be nothing?" murmured Mary, squeezing Sarah's hand tighter. But even in her fear, she felt the warmth of Sarah's conviction. "Then we find strength together," Sarah replied, a gentle resolve emanating from her very being. "Whatever awaits us is meant for our eyes. We won't face it in solitude." Suddenly, soft light began to break through the fog. It streamed in droplets, illuminating the forest floor as if the stars themselves had descended. Each beam touched the villagers, warming their souls with a sense of purpose. Whispers of encouragement wrapped around them, igniting a deeper understanding of the bond they shared. The raven hadn't pulled them into darkness, it had guided them into enlightenment. Just then, a burst of vibrant color filled the air, and they beheld flowers awakening in the fog, their petals unfurling like prayer flags. "Look!" exclaimed James, pointing ahead. "These are not ordinary flowers. They glow." Indeed, the blossoms pulsed with light, each radiating a different hue, each holding a unique promise. Undeterred, Sarah stepped forward, reaching out to touch one of the flowers. As her fingers grazed the petal, an electric sensation surged through her body. Instantly, visions flooded her mind, glimpses of healing, joy, and community. She gasped, overwhelmed with emotion. "This is the miracle. It's not just for us, it's for everyone we've left behind." The villagers, sensing her revelation, rushed to touch the flowers. Each person found hope illuminating within them as their fears melted away and their hearts swelled with love. But then, the fog thickened once more, closing in like a curtain. The joyous moment felt fragile against the looming darkness, and a disquieting thought washed over Sarah. What if the fog hid something daunting? What if they scrambled blindly into danger? "Do we go forward?" Mary asked, her voice barely a whisper. Their spirits surged with urgency as the raven returned, its shadow flickering in the dim light. It caught a sharp call, as though imploring them to trust the journey ahead. "Look to the light. We have to believe," Sarah urged, her eyes glistening with newfound resolve. What awaited them on the other side? Would they uncover not just a sign, but a calling that was meant to transform their lives? As they took that next step together, the path ahead remained unclear, cloaked in divine mystery. Still, the promise of adventure and revelation lingered, a sweet whisper in the air. What divine truths lay waiting for them, just beyond the veil of uncertainty? With the shimmering glow of the flowers guiding their way, the villagers stepped into a realm beyond their comprehension. The fog parted, revealing a path lined with ancient trees whose bark seemed to shimmer with an ethereal light. Each footfall echoed with a sense of destiny, reverberating in the hearts of all present. As they ventured onward, the whispers in the air grew more distinct, almost like sacred hymns. "Can you hear that?" James asked, his eyes wide with wonder. "It's like the forest is singing. Let that song fill your heart." Sarah replied, the excitement bubbling within her. "This is a celebration of our journey." They moved in harmony, each person's heart beating in sync with the rhythm of the divine melody. Suddenly, from the shadows, a figure emerged. It was a majestic stag, his antlers crowned with delicate blossoms, radiating light that cast a warm glow around him. The villagers paused, breaths hitching as they beheld this regal creature. "Do not be afraid," the stag spoke, its voice rich and soothing. "I am a guide. You have taken the steps that many fear, but you are not alone. You are surrounded by love and purpose." Tears pooled in Sarah's eyes as she felt the weight of those words. You You are here to show us what's next. Yes, but you must first demonstrate your faith, the stag replied, nodding toward a sparkling glade. There, you will find the signs. Eager and emboldened, the villagers followed, their anticipation growing as they approached the glade. A crystalline pond lay at its center, shimmering with colors they had never seen. Vibrant fish danced beneath the surface, weaving between beams of light that cascaded from the treetops, creating a spectacle that felt almost heavenly. Look! Mary gasped, as a radiant orb began to rise from the water's heart. It glimmered like the sun, slowly gaining shape until it morphed into a glowing dove. The villagers watched, mesmerized as it circled above them, feathers glistening like stars in the night sky. This is your first sign, the stag said. A symbol of peace and hope. Know that as you share love, it will return to you multiplied. The dove settled gently on Sarah's outstretched hands, filling her with warmth and an overwhelming sense of reassurance. The villagers gasped as they witnessed the transformation within her. Her fear melted away, replaced by a determination to carry this light back to their own lives. Just as the villagers began to fully grasp the significance of the dove, another sign emerged. From the thicket beside the pond, luminous orbs of light burst forth, swirling like fireflies. They danced around them, illuminating the faces of the villagers in wonder. This is your second sign, the stag explained, pride filling his voice. These lights represent the joy that follows faith. Let them breathe life into your community, letting every heart see the possibility of joy through togetherness. And then, with a deep breath, the stag turned his gaze skyward. An extraordinary sight awaited them. A radiant rainbow formed above the glade, vivid and brilliant against the backdrop of mist. Each color connected seamlessly, a divine bridge arching across the heavens. This is your final sign, the stag declared, his voice resonating through the clearing. A promise. The covenant that whatever lies ahead will be met with support and unity. As you step boldly into the unknown, you will find your path illuminated by love. The villagers stood in reverence, each immersed in the profound revelations laid before them. A wave of faith washed over them, an overwhelming realization that they were part of a greater unfolding tapestry. Let us not just marvel, Sarah urged, her voice steady. Let us carry these signs back into our world, allowing the light to shine in every heart we meet. With spirits exalted, the villagers formed a circle, linked by their shared experiences and understanding. But as they turned to thank the stag, he began to fade into the brilliance of the glade, his final words echoing softly. Trust in each other, it is the strength of your faith that will draw you closer to the divine. With hearts full of promise and eyes set on the path ahead, the villagers stepped forward, ready to embrace their new calling. Yet, as they began their journey home, a question loomed large. What trials would test their resolve, and would they truly be able to spread the light they had received? As they walked away from the glade, the villagers felt a stirring in their hearts, a fire ignited by the signs they had just witnessed. The path back home seemed more vibrant, every leaf shining with the hope of their renewed purpose. Yet beneath the exhilaration, a subtle fear threaded its way through their thoughts. What awaited them beyond the shimmering woods? James broke the contemplative silence first. Do you think we'll remember all of this when we return? The signs, the stag? His voice trembled slightly, the gravity of their experience still fresh. We will. Sarah reassured him, her determination strong. The dove, the lights, the rainbow, they'll live in our hearts. We must share that light, no matter the challenges we face. Each word she spoke filled her with conviction, drawing strength from the energy that danced around them. As the villagers made their way toward home, they began to feel an undeniable shift. The clouds above rolled in thicker, casting shadows that danced ominously about their feet. Sarah exchanged glances with Mary, whose face revealed her concern. It feels like there's a storm coming, Mary admitted, her voice barely above a whisper. Perhaps it's a test of our faith, Sarah replied, eyes bright with resolve. Just as the stag said, we must trust in each other and in what we've learned. In that moment, a rumble of thunder echoed through the valley, but it wasn't a sound to scare them. Instead, it resonated deeply in their hearts, reminders from the sacred hymn they had heard only moments before. Each sound became a call to unity, urging them to hold on to each other, to draw strength from their shared experience. Abruptly, the clouds parted, and a beam of sunlight pierced through, illuminating a small clearing just in front of them. Hesitantly, they approached, the air charged with anticipation. What could this new light signify? They wondered. As they stepped into the radiant beam, a voice emerged from the surrounding woods, echoing like distant bells. You have come so far, brave ones, but know this, the journey of the soul is fraught with trials. Those who would shine will be tested, but remember, the light you carry is more powerful than darkness. Startled, the villagers looked around, searching for the source of the voice. It was as if nature itself was speaking to them, tugging at the threads of their spirit. Be bold. The voice continued. You will face challenges, but each challenge is a call to deepen your faith. Embrace them together. Share your light, and it will grow ever brighter. In that moment, they felt an overwhelming rush of warmth envelop them. A collective gasp of realization filled the clearing as they understood. The trials would not only test them but also solidify their newfound purpose, transforming their fears into shared courage. With courage bubbling in their souls, they moved forward, hand in hand, each step resonating with the echoes of faith. Yet the path before them diverged into shadows once again, and uncertainty hung thick in the air. What trials awaited in the valleys of their own world? Would they find the strength to stand together against the darkness, or would it pull them apart? Each villager trembled with a mix of excitement and apprehension, knowing that the trials were just beginning. The journey ahead promised both challenges and the chance for divine transformation, urging them to rise stronger than before. And so they pressed on, for there was a real and present hope shining brighter than ever. But what awaited them just beyond the trees? Beyond the trees, the path twisted like a ribbon, cloaked in whispering shadows that danced alongside the villagers. The sunlight dared to peek through, illuminating patches of vibrant wildflowers that appeared to bow toward them. Each step they took seemed to echo a promise, a sacred vow that their journey was meaningful, and they were not alone. Look! Exclaimed James, pointing toward the horizon where the sun was beginning to set. The sky transformed into a canvas of colors, deep oranges, pinks, and purples blending in a spectacular display. It's as if the heavens are celebrating our steps. Sarah felt her heart swell at the sight. It is a sign. Just as the stag foretold. We are being guided. Yet the celebration was short-lived. From the distance, a low growl rumbled, sending shivers through the ground beneath their feet. The villagers paused, exchanging worried glances. The merging of beauty and danger filled the air with tension. Do you hear that? Mary whispered, clutching her friend's hand tighter. It could be a trick, Sarah said, the fire of her conviction flickering slightly. We must keep moving. We know our hearts are true. As they pressed forward, the growls grew louder, morphing into an eerie wail that resonated through the woods, a haunting sound that danced upon their fears. Just then, a shadow leapt out from the edge of the trees, its outline sharp and menacing, an enormous wolf with wild eyes that glimmered like coals against the darkening sky. Gasps filled the air. Some villagers stepped back, feeling the grip of fear tightening around their throats. But Sarah held her ground. Do not lose faith. Remember the light. We have faced trials already, and we will face this one as well. In that moment, a flicker of light began to emanate from within her. It swirled around her like a protective mist, pulsing gently with every heartbeat. Then, one by one, the hearts of the villagers ignited with the same brightness. James stood tall. We are together, and we will not be shaken. Boldness swept over them, and as they stood united, the wolf hesitated, its growl softening. It approached slowly, circling them with caution. Suddenly, the creature's menacing form began to shift, revealing something unexpected. The tension of their fear gave way to a peaceful energy that now blanketed the clearing. With a deep, rumbling sigh, the wolf knelt before the villagers, transforming into a gentle, shimmering creature bathed in the same radiant light that they carried. The essence of fear transformed into reassurance. It spoke with a voice that resonated deep within their souls. "Why do you fear? Darkness comes to awaken your light," it said, every word vibrating with sincerity. "To shine brighter, you must face the shadows." With awe, the villagers watched as the creature displayed the balance of creation before them. In that moment, they recognized the divine truth echoing in the air. Overcoming fear could unlock their truest selves. "What do we do next?" Mary breathed, the question hanging heavy in the air. The wolf, now fully illuminated, bowed its head. "There will be more trials, yet each holds a gift. Seek them with open hearts and find the truth of your souls." Their spirits lifted, they clasped hands tighter, realizing that they stood on the brink of something greater than themselves. Hope lingered in every breath, filling the space with divine expectancy. They understood that each challenge now served a purpose, a gateway to transformation. As they turned toward the path ahead, the trees rustled with the whispers of the divine, beckoning them onward. The trials of the past had shaped them, and they were ready to embrace what awaited, but as they ventured forward into the thickening shadows, an echo of uncertainty lingered in the air. What would the next trial reveal, and how much courage would it take to overcome? The journey was just beginning. As the villagers continued through the shadowy woods, uncertainty loomed, yet their resolve shone bright. Hand in hand, they ventured deeper, hearts drumming a rhythm of faith. "Together, we are unstoppable," Sarah declared, her voice ringing with warmth. The path twisted, illuminated by glowing flowers that seemed to guide their way. Each step felt like a testament to their journey, a journey rooted in hope and unwavering trust. Yet, shadows lingered at the edges, teasing what might lie ahead. Then, without warning, a figure emerged from the darkness, a cloaked silhouette with eyes that sparkled like starlight. It stood still, emanating an aura both ominous and inviting. "Do you dare to unearth the truths hidden within your souls?" the figure asked, voice echoing across the clearing. Courage bubbled in Sarah's heart, her spirit daring to step forward. "Yes. We are here to embrace the journey and discover the revelations waiting for us," she spoke, glow in her eyes and a fire at her core. The cloaked figure nodded slowly, then gestured for them to follow. They stepped into a circle of ancient trees, their branches intertwining like hands raised to the heavens. "Within you lies the key," the figure said, voice soft yet powerful. "It is your faith that cultivates miracles." With those words, an unexpected joy surged. Sarah shared with the villagers her belief that their journey had begun not just as a quest for signs, but as an opportunity to uncover the immense faith woven into each of their hearts. "What if we are the miracles?" she implored, glancing around at the faces of her friends whose eyes glimmered in agreement. In that sacred moment, a vibrant light burst forth, cascading from the branches above them. It spiraled down, wrapping around them like a protective cocoon, grounding them in unity. The villagers gasped as they felt their fears start to dissolve. "Remember," the figure whispered, "your collective spirit is unmatched. Seek not only the signs, but also the purpose behind them." Once again, an ethereal hush fell. They were suspended between infinity and a moment of revelation. Then, the ground trembled beneath them, an invitation for deeper understanding. Each villager stepped forward, sharing their dreams and fears, weaving their voices into a tapestry of devotion. "I want to be a beacon of hope," James called out, eyes shining bright. "I yearn to bring light to others' darkness," echoed Mary, her heart radiating with love. An explosion of light filled the clearing, swirling around them until it formed a magnificent dove, soaring high above. Its wings spanned the sky, illuminating every crevice with divine grace. "Your hearts combined create an unshakable bond," the figure affirmed, pointing towards the dove that fluttered with radiant colors. "From this day forward, know that you are the messengers of hope and light." As the dove descended, gliding gently towards Sarah, she felt its warmth envelop her. "This is not just a sign," she exclaimed, tears cascading from her eyes. This is our mission. The villagers stood united in that moment, understanding their purpose was not for themselves alone, but for their entire community. Each person began to glow with newfound energy, illuminating the way home. They had discovered the miracle not in signs alone, but in each other, bound together by joy, love, and unwavering faith. With hands still clasped, they began to make their way back through the forest. Each step resonated with purpose, hearts connected like a divine chain. And then, as they emerged from the shadows, the sky burst into brilliant light, revealing the vibrant hues of a new dawn. As they stepped into the village, neighbors gathered, their faces expectant. "Tell us what you learned," they urged, excitement bubbling in their voices. With joyous hearts, Sarah spoke of their journey of trials, camaraderie, and the divine revelations they had uncovered. "We are the miracles, my friends," she proclaimed, her voice ringing with clarity. "Together, let us nurture hope, let us be the light for one another. There are more signs yet to come, but let our hearts be the music." The villagers erupted in celebration, a chorus of joyful voices echoing throughout the community. They embraced, laughter filling the air. Each individual knew this was but the beginning of a greater purpose, the awakening of a faith that would transcend their lives, blossoming into a radiant legacy. And thus, as the sun rose with renewed promise, a sacred truth enveloped the village. They were united not just by shared experiences, but by a collective faith, ready to embrace the miracles yet to come. The journey had transformed them all, and as one heart, they prepared to shine, for faith is not just a fleeting moment, it is an everlasting promise that blooms when we believe together. So, dear friends, let your light shine among your circles. Share your stories, cultivate your faith, and remember that you, too, are part of this beautiful journey. The signs are everywhere. Open your hearts and your eyes. Now, don't wait. Subscribe immediately to the channel so you won't miss the next exclusive faith stories. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm, it truly makes a difference. Comment your reactions and testimonies about this ending, your words can inspire others. And share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this manifestation. Let us spread the light together.